Okay, we're back for another Fine Art Friday. 2 days late because my computer actually kept crashing while I was trying to record this. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to go ahead and open up the file that we're going to work on today. Today we're going to do a boudoir inspired photo shoot. Well, it was a boudoir photo shoot, but the fine art aspect will be inspired by the boudoir shoot. I am using the latest version of Photoshop, not the beta, because we're now out of the beta realm. This is the image that we're going to start with. This is straight out of camera, unedited. This young lady that shot with me was shooting for her husband, and this is one of the pieces that she had picked out to get a big print. I'm going to edit this picture differently than the one that she got. Hers was actually color and everything. We're going to go black and white and so on, etc. But to get started, we're going to start with the crop. I always recommend getting your horizon straight. So you'll notice this detail in the background. It's not straight, and so it makes your head kind of tilt sideways. That is not what you want. So grab your straighten tool, go along the horizon line, and that's going to straighten it up. That's the easiest, quickest way to get a good crop. Now you can use some of the new tools like generative expand if you wanted to go out here and make the image bigger. You could, but I am actually going to make the image smaller. Tighter crop. And here's when you are doing any sort of art, you want to follow some basic rules. So this is set up with the rule of thirds on the screen here. You'll notice the grid. We're going to try and get all this stuff to line up on the rule of thirds. So I'm going to get a little tighter crop. Just a touch tighter. Okay. So what we're going to do is you'll notice that the heel is on this third. This shoe is on this third. The knee approximately is on this third. The top of the shoe is on this third. Her butt is on this third. That is about the composition that you want. So we're just going to hit return. We could go back in at the very end and tighten things up if we want to. But we're going to zoom in. You could, if you have a Mac, you could use your trackpad and just pinch, but I just used the magnifying tool to make it easier for everybody because I couldn't tell you how to do it on the PC. It's probably similar. Alright, so you'll notice there's a hair here, there's a hair here, there's just little things that happen during the shoot that you don't notice until you get back to edit. She's also has a little birthmark or mole or freckle here and here. There's some stretch marks and stuff like that. That's all normal stuff that us humans have. But anyway, I'm going to do this a little bit at a time because my computer is just crashing. It's started happening after the last update of Photoshop, and I'm sure they're still working out some of the kinks. So I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. So here we did this hair, hit return, and it looks like it's going to move fine. If you do too much, which this just started happening, so hopefully it's not going to happen to you. If I go through here, I'm just going to do it and hope for the best. I'm going to go over some of these stretch marks. It's not really going to matter because I have a different step here, but I'm just going to show you. You can use the remove tool, but for some reason now it doesn't like if you do too many spots. So Yeah, so this is a flaw in Photoshop right now. I did too many, and it's just going to spin. It's just not going to work. So I'm just going to back out of that. Trade tools, go back to that tool. And now we're just going to do just a couple little spots at a time. So I don't know why that's happening. It's really a frustrating flaw right now. And it could just be my computer, but it's making this video a little tougher than I want it to be. So, okay, I'm not going to go crazy. All these little things will go away. There is a little fuzzball there, and there's an imperfection on this shoe. It's just, I think if we get those gone, yeah, so as long as I just click it once or twice, it's fine. You used to be able to go over it until they did the generative fill, and you could remove anything and it went easy breezy. But okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I move my nugget over here really quick. It's mainly just so I can adjust these windows just a touch. Okay, so I have this tool right here called Beautify. I'm going to click on this. This is Beautify version 2. You could find on Adobe's website and all kinds of free plugins out there something very similar to this. This, I believe I paid about $30 or $40 for a couple years ago. There's probably newer versions out, but we're just going to click on this. I'm going to hit plastic skin. And what this does is it really smooths out little teeny imperfections. So you'll notice as I go over her skin, it's going to smooth that skin. I mean, it's literally called plastic skin for a reason, because it smooths everything out like plastic. So let's go over that. The nice thing is some of these aftermarket tools, they just work flawlessly in Photoshop. We don't care if there's a little bit of character showing through here. That's okay. And then I also don't want to go over this right here because of that light. If I try to smooth that out, you lose that. So we're going to miss that. I'm going to make my cursor a little smaller. I'm going to go over the edge because we all have like little peach fuzz and different things like that that will affect the overall look. Like I said, I'm not going to go over this because we want that light coming through. That's what makes it artsy. Okay, so nugget back over here somewhere. I think that looks pretty good, so I am going to take the opacity down to 50%, just so some of her natural skin is there. You know, you could over process this and get rid of every stretch mark, every little hair and everything else, but it's not going to look natural. So just take it down a notch. You know, you don't have to go crazy. All right, so I'm going to flatten that down. The way I do a lot of this stuff is very destructive, and I do this out of simplicity, and I've been using Photoshop for so many years that it's easier for me to do it that way. Having said that, nowadays I know you can do everything smart and not lose anything along the way. It's harder for me to do that when I'm showing. So bear with me. If you want to extend this out and keep all the layers and everything, which I completely understand because, you know, sometimes we don't know exactly where we're going. This image I've edited like 4 times now, so I'm not really worried about the potential of making a mistake. So I'm going to also hit Sharpen Eyes in that Beautify program, and this is going to be a little unintuitive, I guess, because there are no eyes in this picture. This is just a really good sharpening tool, and you could do this just with the normal sharpening stuff over here and a few different things. If you have Beautify or any of these little plugins that will speed up the process, use it. So basically the way this works is it creates an adjustment layer, and the one adjustment layer that creates it lightens everything. You know, a lot of times when you're doing portrait work, you want the whites, the eyes light, and so this does that, and it'll do it on anything. So I'll lighten up some of the edges. Booty here. Lighten up her legs. And then we'll click on the Sharp-This tool, and we'll just sharpen. We'll sharpen all these little details, because the focus in this picture is the shoe. Now, I don't have a foot fetish or anything like that, but I do know a lot of people are infatuated with shoes and the overall look, and so let's just go ahead and make that stuff pop. You know, if something's in focus, you know, really draw your eye to that focus point. You know, don't have people hunt for it. I think that's pretty good. Now, you'll notice before, after, and a lot of people would be fine with that. I always like to take the opacity. Oops, the whole thing. I take the opacity down to about 50%, and in this case 49%. So it's there, but it's not super obvious. Like, your eyes are just naturally going to be drawn where they need to go, instead of you know, overemphasizing something and then having too much focus. You know, like then it starts looking fake. You know, they don't want that. So I'm going to flatten that again for simplicity's sake. All right, this is starting to look like something. So, like I've done in other videos, I have the Nick collection. I also have Skyrim software, but won't apply on this one. We'll go to the Nick collection. We'll go to Silver Effects. Now I'm going to show you guys something here that you don't need Silver Effects. This just makes it a little easier. This image right here, the way it sits, is exactly like if you took it into Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw and just converted it to black and white. So when you first see this, it takes it to exactly what you'd be doing. Now, there's presets set in Silver Effects that are very nice to use. I'm sure there's plenty of presets available for free for Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw that would do the exact same thing, and you just have to experiment. But I have a preset already. It's called Contrasty. I'm going to just click on that, and you'll see it just brought some contrast. We'll go before, after. So remember, this image right here is if you convert it to black and white in Camera Raw. That's where it's at now. I'm going to just hit apply. This just takes a second here. And boom, that looks pretty good. Now, we'll go before the conversion, after the conversion. You'll notice in the background, this stuff really pops now. I don't really want it to pop. I just really wanted her details in her shoes and stuff to pop. There's a few different ways you could take care of that, and we'll show you now. So I'm going to go to Adobe Camera Raw. You could also go to Adobe Lightroom if you'd rather. They're the exact same program. I just don't see a point in going back to Lightroom, opening the program, and exporting back forth to Photoshop. For me, Adobe Camera Raw is a plugin in Photoshop, and it works out really well. So, if you go to your masking tools, and we'll try and see if it'll see the background first. It did. I'm going to subtract this section right here and this little bit right here. Other than that, it did a pretty good job. So I'm gonna use the brush tool and size up, feather down a little bit, turn the flow up a little bit, just so it can really penetrate the. Try that again. Brush. Okay. So we're going to go right down in this little area here. It's her little negligee. Little fishnet outfit. I don't know. It was probably a teddy or whatever. I don't really stay up to date with female fashion and what they call everything. I just know I either like it or I don't. And this particular application I do like. I don't know what she had on here. So I'm not going to go along this edge here. I am going to go here. You don't have to be perfect. It's going to be okay. All right, so we're going to go to basic adjustments. Oops. Moving up. Click on our mask. The basic adjustments on the mask are right below here. If you go back to that, it will see the whole thing. So I'm going to take the exposure up in the background. We're just going to kind of blow that out. I want to take the contrast down. Remember, we made her body very contrasty, but we don't really need to go crazy. I'm going to take the highlights up in this case because we're going to kind of blow this background out. I'm going to take the shadows up as well, just a touch. I'm going to take the whites down because we don't want it to actually blow out, but we want it to be less contrasty. Black up just a touch. And now we're going to take the texture, we're going to take it down. We're going to take the clarity down as well. And I want to see some of this background, but I don't want it to be a distraction. And then we're going to dehaze it a little bit. That's going to add that little below. So if you do negative dehaze, it'll make everything kind of blowy. Obviously, you go positive dehaze, it brings back the sharpness. So we don't want it to be too sharp in the background. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to do another mask. Move over here. We'll create another mask. This is just going to be a radial gradient. The nice thing about doing stuff like this is if somebody wants to give their partner a wedding gift or just a special occasion stuff, if you do these really soft, artsy things, they're much better than just like nude picture or whatever. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go down to the dehaze again. We're gonna dehaze the whole little circle. Take the clarity down, take the texture down just a little bit. We're just gonna take these edges and make them softer. Take the exposure up just a smidge. And contrast white down just a little bit. I don't want it to be true white along the edges. And you guys will see in a second why. Alright, I think that looks fairly good. I think this should tilt it a little bit. And let's shrink this down just a little. Okay. Looks fairly good. Don't want to lose the detail of the shoe, so you got to make sure that the feather here doesn't go into here. It'd be okay in the back because this is slightly blurred out from the aperture I used, but you want to make sure this stays nice and clear. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's okay. So again, I call this bodyscapes because you are literally just like a landscape. You're kind of, this would be like the mountain, whatever, and you're focusing on the bodyscape as opposed to like a portrait where you focus on the eyes or whatever. So the focus here is definitely on the shoe. Now, there's a couple things now that we've edited it that's just going to bug me. So I'm going to go to my remove tool again, and these little bits that are part of this are now kind of blown out. So we're just going to remove those. Hopefully the computer can handle this. Yeah, looks like it's going to be fine. It definitely doesn't move as quickly as it used to. I don't really like that, but what can you do? Alright, so sometimes you have to hit the remove tool twice. Did it really fast that time, that's good. Now, this little area here could be a distraction. Excuse me. Instead of using the remove tool, I think what I'll do is I'll just use the lasso and I'll also get rid of this little bit of our shoe strap, and I'm going to go down to content aware fill and just see if that does a better job. So you'll notice it'll say this is the areas scanning from. I could go through and try and delete what it's selecting. I'm just going to let it go and see what it does. To not do a good job. So, yeah, I think we'll do the remove tool. And this is the type of things that you're just going to have to experiment with because every image is a little different. So I'm going to take the remove tool. I'm going to get rid of this strap because I think it's a distraction. And I think I'm going to get rid of part of this. I'll probably leave this line here because it does set the horizon a little bit. Just take this distraction down a little bit. You don't have to get rid of everything. It's really going to be a personal journey for everybody. but sometimes I find if there's a background piece and you're trying to create more of a fine art piece than a snapshot, then you'll have to go in and tweak the stuff a little bit. So we're getting closer. I think we just need to refine that, and I'm going to make this brush a little bit bigger. We want to have a little bit of texture on that wall. You know, you can get super artsy and get rid of every little thing, but I do believe that some imperfections just make things look more natural, you know. And that looks pretty good. This piece needs to go, and maybe this piece. Sweet. It's pretty good. I think I'm gonna clone this down, but I'm just gonna clone this area over here and just add a little bit of the same type of texture, just so our eyes aren't drawn too much, but that's pretty good. Okay. Now you'll remember that I said sometimes you want to go back in and crop. That's exactly where we're at now. I'm gonna go back in. I'm just gonna tighten this up just a little bit. And the reason why is because I'm gonna do a black border around, or not black, a white border around everything. So and you'll notice now, so now this heel is slightly above, so is this. We could move this down if we want. I think it needs to be up just a bit so it's balanced at the top and at the bottom. So still close to the rule of thirds. You don't have to be precise, you know, that nobody's going to be like taking a ruler and saying, oh, I think you're a little bit off. You know, it's nobody's going to know what's not there. You know what I'm saying? But our eyes do naturally, you know, follow leading lines, and the closer you get to something, the better. Okay, so I'm going to flatten this. Again, you saw where it started color-wise. This is very much like a sensual ad for like Victoria's Secret back in the day, or Fredericks of Hollywood, or whatever. It's sexy, but not pornographic. Yeah, I think that this is pretty close. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything. I'm going to hit transform, so Command T, or you can go up into the edit menu. It's free transform. Anyway, and then what I typically do with like black and white kind of artsy portraits and stuff is I will put a white border around. Just looks nice and framed without buying an expensive frame. And if you post this on Instagram or something to that effect, it's already got what you want. You know, it's framed in. It looks like an art print. I think this is it. That is the finished product.